Hello dear learners, welcome to the third video of capital formation in Indian agriculture. The growth of any economy depends on several factors such as workforce expansion, technological advancements and capital accumulation. Among these, capital formation is one of the most critical aspects of economic development. It refers to the process of increasing the stock of physical, financial and human capital in an economy. In the context of Indian agriculture, capital formation is essential for improving productivity, modernizing farming methods and ensuring long-term sustainability. While India has witnessed significant improvements in agricultural output, capital investment remains a major challenge. Historically, public investment dominated agricultural development, but in recent decades, private investment has taken the lead. However, issues like declining public expenditure, limited access to institutional credit, and fragmented landholding have slowed down capital formation in the sector. In this video, we will try to explore the concept of capital formation, its types, sources, its relevance and importance. There is a distinction between the term capital and capital formation. Let us first discuss what is capital. The term capital refers to those assets which are used as inputs in the process of production to generate further goods and services. It is thus not the same as money, but refers to assets for the generation of which investment of both money and human efforts are required. A second characteristic of capital is thus that the asset must have been created by human efforts and not available in a natural form. Thus, although land is the most important basic resource in agriculture, land itself is not considered capital. But any investment made on land development would be treated as capital as it satisfies the criteria of human effort and an asset useful in the agricultural production process. Capital in agriculture can broadly be categorized into tangible capital and intangible capital. Tangible capital refers to physical assets that contribute directly to agricultural production. This includes machinery such as tractors, irrigation pump sets, farm buildings, warehouses, and inventories of essential inputs like seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. These physical investments plays a crucial role in increasing farm efficiency, reducing manual labor, and improving overall agricultural output. On the other hand, intangible capital in agriculture refers to investments made in the development of human resources, particularly in areas such as health, education, and skill training of farm workers. Enhancing the health and knowledge base of farmers and agricultural laborers contributes to what is known as human capital formation. When farmers receive proper education and training, they are better equipped to adopt modern farming techniques, utilize new technologies, and implement improved farm management practices. This ultimately leads to higher productivity, better resource management, and increased profitability in agriculture. Now let us discuss the concept of capital formation. Capital formation is the process of building up the stock of capital in an economy by saving a portion of current income and investing it in the creation of capital goods such as machinery, tools, plants, equipments, transportation, storage, and communication facilities. The growth of capital stock depends on the level of new investments made in these assets. Over time, capital assets used in production undergo wear and tear, leading to a decline in their value, which we call depreciation. If the rate of capital consumption, that is depreciation, is lower than the rate of additional investment, the total stock of capital increases over time. Investments in capital assets can be for their maintenance, which extends their lifespan, and capital formation is directly influenced by the amount of investment made during a financial year. There exists a conceptual distinction between capital and investment. Investment is a flow concept measured over a period of time, basically during a financial year, whereas capital is a stock concept measured at a specific point in time, usually at the end of a financial year. Capital formation significantly contributes to economic development by building physical infrastructure, enabling the adoption of modern production techniques, enhancing workforce productivity, ensuring efficient utilization of natural resources, and fostering technological advancement, which ultimately leads to increased agricultural production, productivity, and income. Thus, we can say that capital formation depends on two factors. One is savings and investment, that is, a portion of income must be saved and reinvested in agricultural development. And the second one is net capital addition, that is, new investment must exceed depreciation, that is, wear and tear of existing assets. Let us discuss type of capital and capital formation. Capital used in agriculture can broadly be classified into two categories. Number one, fixed capital, and number two is working capital. Fixed capital refers to capital that lasts for more than 1 year. It includes investments in farm machinery such as tractors, pump sets, and other long-term assets like tube well, land development, and farm buildings. These assets contribute to agricultural production over an extended period and are not exhausted within a single production cycle. Working capital, on the other hand, refers to capital that lasts for less than 1 year and is used for day-to-day farming operations. It includes expenses incurred on seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, wages paid to farm laborers, and other inputs that are essential for the production process but are consumed within a single agricultural session or financial year. Since working capital is continuously used, it plays a vital role in ensuring smooth agricultural operations. Thus, capital formation in agriculture comprises additions to fixed capital minus disposal and changes of inventories. Inventories include materials and supplies meant for intermediate inputs in production, as well as finished goods that are ready for sale, such as packaged agricultural products. Fixed capital formation refers to the net addition to fixed assets in a given year, which is calculated as the total additions minus depreciation. In order to maintain the stock of capital in an economy, an additional investment equivalent to the amount of capital consumed, that is depreciation, should be made within that year. Fixed capital formation can further be classified into gross fixed capital formation and net fixed capital formation. That is GFCF and NFCF. GFCF refers to the total value of all new fixed capital assets added to the existing stock during a given year. In contrast, NFCF represents the GFCF net of depreciation, meaning it accounts for the wear and tears of capital assets. Depreciation, also known as consumption of fixed capital, that is CFC, is calculated only for all fixed assets, both tangible and intangible. However, CFC is not calculated for valuables that are acquired, as their real value does not decline over time. Livestock, since animals are not considered depreciable capital assets. Non-produced asset, such as land, mineral deposits and other natural resources. Work in progress, as it represents unfinished capital formation. And fixed asset destroyed by act of war or major natural disasters, as these losses are not part of regular depreciation. Capital can also be categorized based on ownership into private capital and public capital. Public capital includes capital owned and maintained by local, state and central governments, such as municipal sewage system, dams, power projects, roads, canals, warehouses and market sheds. These investments support agricultural development by providing essential infrastructure for storage, irrigation, transportation and energy supply. Private capital, on the other hand, consists of capital owned by private individuals, businesses and companies. It includes assets such as farm machinery, irrigation equipment, private warehouses and other agricultural tools. Both public and private capital plays a crucial role in the development of agricultural sector. While public capital creates the necessary infrastructure and support systems for farming activities, private capital enables farmers to enhance productivity through investments in better technology and equipment. The balanced growth of both public and private capital is essential for the overall progress of agricultural and rural development. Now we will discuss the sources of capital formation. There are two primary sources of capital formation. One is domestic sources and another is external sources. Domestic sources of capital formation include: number 1, voluntary and involuntary savings; number 2, public borrowings; number 3, activation of idle resources; and number 4, deficit financing. Voluntary savings are mainly contributed by two major sectors. Namely the household sector and the corporate sector, which together accounts for approximately 90% of total savings, while the public sector contributes the remaining 10%. Among these, the household sector contributes the largest share, around 60% of total savings. The savings of the household sector depends on various economic factors such as income distribution, per capita income, propensity to save, banking infrastructure, and interest rates. Additionally, non-economic factors like savings for children's education and marriage, healthcare needs, and old age emergency also play a significant role in influencing household savings. The corporate sector, which includes private non-government companies, is another key contributor to voluntary savings. In contrast, involuntary savings are mobilized by the government through mechanisms such as taxation and compulsory savings scheme, for example, provident funds. Another domestic source of capital formation is public or government borrowings, which refers to fund raised by issuing government bonds, for example, infrastructural development bonds. This allows the government to mobilize savings for infrastructure and public sector projects. Activation of idle resources refers to utilizing surplus agricultural labor for productive asset creation, such as the construction of road, tube wells, canals, schools, and other public works. This concept is closely linked to the Lewis theory of unlimited supply of labors, which suggests that surplus labor in agriculture can be absorbed into more productive sectors. Finally, another important source of capital formation is deficit financing, where the government raises funds by borrowings from the central bank or printing additional currencies. These funds are then used to generate productive assets in the public sector, thereby contributing to economic growth. External sources of capital formation includes number 1, the foreign direct investment, number 2, external government borrowings, that is EGBs, number 3, external commercial borrowings, that is ECBs, and number 4, development assistance from international institutions such as World Bank and non-resident NRI deposits. FDI inflows is a crucial source of capital formation in developing economies. Apart from reducing capital scarcity, FDI brings advanced technology, management expertise, and skilled human resources into the domestic economy. Additionally, collaborations between domestic and foreign companies can enhance the performance of local industries by introducing modern production techniques and improving efficiency. External government borrowings refers to funds raised by the central and state governments from foreign financial institutions like the World Bank and IMF. These funds are typically used for infrastructure development projects such as water supply and sanitation system, roads, healthcare facilities, and power generation projects. Similarly, external commercial borrowings refers to private sector borrowings from foreign sources, which are primarily used for investment and business expansion. Lastly, international development assistance from institutions such as World Bank and IMF and other bilateral and multilateral agencies plays a significant role in capital formation by financing key projects in education, healthcare, and infrastructure sectors. All these external sources help to increase the capital stock and facilitate economic development by bridging investment gap, improving productivity, and strengthening financial stability. Now, why capital formation is important in agriculture? Capital formation is essential for economic growth and development. It helps in number 1, enhancing productivity. Investment in farm equipments, infrastructure leads to higher efficiency and output. The next is modernizing techniques. Capital formation enables the adoption of advanced technologies in agriculture sector and thereby increasing the output of the sector. The next is ensuring sustainable growth. With better infrastructure and with better financial resources and human capital, the agriculture sector can sustain long-term development. The next is generating employment. Investment creates jobs in agriculture, which can improve overall economic well-being of the nation. Now, why capital formation is relevant in Indian agriculture? India has a predominantly agrarian economy, with a large portion of the population dependent on agriculture for livelihood. However, the sector faces challenges such as low productivity, outdated technique, and inadequate infrastructure. Capital formation in agriculture is crucial for number 1, improving farm productivity. Investment in better irrigation system, fertilizers, and modern machinery can enhance yields. Number 2, reducing dependence on monsoon. Capital investment in irrigation facilities and water conservation reduce risks associated with erratic rainfall or excessive dependency of Indian farmers on monsoon or weather. The next is enhancing storage and transportation. Better storage facility and transportation network help reduce post-harvest losses. Promoting agribusiness and value addition. Investment in food processing and supply chain increases farmers' income and create rural employment. So, in this video, we have discussed the concept of capital formation, its type, sources, its relevance and importance. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.